They told me not to come for Christmas. They said my presence would embarrass them. But when her billionaire boyfriend saw a single photograph, everything they'd built, their pride, their perfect image, their control, crumbled in an instant. And I wasn't even there to watch. The living room still smelled faintly of pine and cinnamon when the call came through. My phone buzzed against the polished oak coffee table, and I glimpsed my daughter, Emily, humming softly as she sprinkled colored sugar over gingerbread cookies. I had just taken a sip of hot cocoa when her voice cut through the quiet, syrupy and insincere. "Don't come for Christmas," said my sister-in-law, her tone smooth as silk, almost playful, though the words were venom wrapped in courtesy. I froze mid-sip, letting the warmth of the drink linger in my throat. "Excuse me?" I asked, though I already knew the sting in her meaning. From the background, her mother's voice pierced, sharper than I remembered. "We'll pretend we don't know you, Miranda. It's for the best. Don't embarrass us." The words landed like ice water over my heart. Not only did they want me absent, but they wanted me invisible, erased from the image of the perfect holiday they had curated. I looked around at my modest living room. Twinkling lights reflected off the ornaments, the faint smell of pine blending with fresh cookies, Emily's small hands dusted with sugar. Anger bubbled quietly beneath my ribs, a slow, steady fire. But I swallowed it. "Understood," I said softly, my voice steady, and ended the call. Yet I didn't feel defeated. A smile crept across my lips, small but certain, because I knew something they didn't. And when her billionaire boyfriend saw the photograph I had prepared, it wouldn't just ruin their Christmas. It would unravel everything they thought they had built. That evening, after tucking Emily into bed with her favorite blanket pulled snug over her shoulders, I retrieved an old, worn leather album from the bookshelf. It wasn't merely filled with family photos, it was a chronicle of moments that carried weight, evidence, and, in the right hands, leverage. One photograph in particular caught my eye. Taken at a gala years ago, it showed me shaking hands with a man who had once been a figure of quiet, understated power. Not just any man, but the same billionaire now being paraded by my sister-in-law as her golden ticket. Back then, I had been serving on the board of a logistics firm. His company had been one of our major clients, and we had collaborated closely. He knew my work, my integrity, my competence. I wasn't the pathetic nobody my in-laws pretended I was. I scanned the photograph, made a subtle adjustment, a small caption reading, "Old friends reunited." The rest was simple. A friend in catering, one of the staff at the event my in-laws were hosting, took the flash drive containing the photo with a small, deliberate instruction. Make sure it cycles through the family slideshow. The party was in full swing. The living room glittered with string lights, crystal glasses reflecting the warm glow. Expensive champagne flutes clinked in polite toasts. My sister-in-law lingered near the billionaire, her posture a calculated display of conquest, while her parents paraded him like a prize stallion. "Isn't he just perfect?" her mother gushed, loud enough for anyone to hear. "A real man with real money, unlike, well, others." Guests laughed, some politely, some with the mild cruelty of curiosity. They noticed my absence, mocked it quietly, but I was already elsewhere. I was calm because I knew exactly what was about to unfold. Halfway through dinner, the lights dimmed. A projector hummed softly as the family slideshow began, a collection of smiling faces, beach trips, birthdays, a highlight reel of carefully curated perfection. Then it appeared. The photograph of me, shaking hands with the billionaire, caption glowing beneath. "Old friends reunited." The room froze. Forks hovered midair. Conversation stalled mid-sentence. "That's Miranda Chase," the billionaire said slowly, his voice cutting through the stunned silence. "You didn't tell me she was family." My sister-in-law's expression drained of color. You know her?" A low chuckle escaped his lips. "We've done business together. Her insight saved my company millions. If she's family, why hasn't she been invited tonight?" All eyes turned to her parents, who fumbled and stammered, their carefully maintained composure cracking like fragile glass. In that moment, I felt no satisfaction in witnessing their panic. Instead, there was quiet joy in knowing truth had arrived uninvited, just as it always does. The billionaire's eyes were steady, piercing, as they fixed on my sister-in-law. You never mentioned your connection to Miranda Chase. Why? She faltered, words sticking in her throat. She's irrelevant, just some failed. Failed, he interrupted, voice sharp, precise, cutting through the room like a knife. This woman mentored me when my company was drowning. She's not irrelevant. She's the reason I'm standing here today. A ripple of whispers spread through the guests. Phones appeared in hands, some recording, some capturing the moment. A murmur of astonishment traveled like wildfire. He turned to her parents, eyes cold and unwavering. And you excluded her? While parading me around as a trophy. Her mother stumbled, stammering. We didn't think. His voice hardened. You've shown me who you truly are. Users. Parasites. You thought money blinded me. Loyalty matters more than wealth. And you've just proven you have none. The room gasped. The tension was palpable, almost electric. Guests leaned forward, craving the spectacle of truth dismantling pretension. My sister-in-law's face had turned pale. Her carefully constructed mask of superiority crumbled before her eyes. I won't marry into a family that disrespects the only person here worth respecting, the billionaire declared, raising his glass high, not to them, but to me. To Miranda Chase, the real strength in this family. Glasses clinked around the room, hesitant at first, then with eager solidarity. My sister-in-law froze, paralyzed as her world collapsed in slow motion. And me? I wasn't even there. I was home, curled on the sofa with Emily nestled against me, the fire crackling in the hearth. My phone buzzed constantly, updates flooding in, texts, photos, videos of the scene, of their collective disgrace. I smiled quietly, savoring the moment without needing to step into the spotlight. The night stretched on, yet I remained at home, the sound of snow lightly tapping against the window. Emily was asleep, her breathing soft and even. I sipped the remaining cocoa, letting the warmth spread through me. 5 days later, the calls began. First, my husband, no, not my husband. My ex-husband's cousin, then my sister-in-law, then her mother. Panic laced their voices, cracks of desperation making them sound smaller than ever. Miranda, please talk to him. My sister-in-law's voice trembled. Convince him it was a misunderstanding. I listened, silent. Every syllable was a testament to how completely the tables had turned. The very people who had once dictated my absence were now scrambling to validate their connection to me. Meanwhile, the billionaire had cut all ties with them. Every business associate, every charity board, every social connection knew why. Greed, disloyalty, hypocrisy. Overnight, their names became toxic. Invitations vanished. Investors withdrew. Friends distanced themselves. And I thrived. Opportunities arrived, calls from former colleagues, new business propositions, even old friends reaching out with genuine warmth and respect. The recognition wasn't for wealth, but for character. The thing my in-laws had always underestimated. Emily and I had quiet dinners where laughter filled the room, where glasses clinked in my honor, not for power or money, but because people now saw what mattered: integrity, loyalty, and courage. One snowy evening, as I tucked Emily into bed, she asked softly, her wide eyes reflecting the glow of the nightlight. "Mom, are you happy now?" I kissed her forehead gently. "Happier than ever, sweetheart. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't making them pay, it's living well, while they drown in the emptiness they created for themselves." She smiled, nestling into her blankets, oblivious to the storm of arrogance I had dismantled outside our home. Outside, the snow continued to fall, blanketing the world in quiet serenity, mirroring the peace that had finally settled in our lives. From that night on, Christmas belonged to us. Not the hollow grandeur of their staged parties, but quiet evenings filled with warmth, laughter, and love, the kind of memories that endure. As for my in-laws, their missteps and arrogance had left them exposed. Every lie they had built their image upon unraveled. Invitations ceased. Alliances fractured. The world finally saw them for what they truly were: superficial, opportunistic, and empty. And I moved forward, doors opening that I had never imagined. Respect, admiration, and genuine connections replaced the pretenses of wealth. The same photograph that had remained a quiet memory in my album became the catalyst for transformation, not just for me, but for Emily and our future. Because sometimes the sweetest victory is silent, observed only by those who matter most. And as I watched Emily's breathing slow in the soft glow of her bedroom, I knew our story was just beginning, a story of strength, courage, and undeniable truth. The media picked up the story. Headlines carried the unraveling of my in-laws' reputation across networks. Billionaire snubs arrogant family over loyalty. One banner read, "Christmas party ends in chaos after secret revealed." Another declared. I read each story with quiet amusement. The same voices that once whispered, "Pretend we don't know you," were now pleading for recognition. But I remained silent. Their reputation was irreversibly tarnished, and I did not need to add to the spectacle. Opportunities continued to arrive: business partnerships, speaking invitations, even philanthropic endeavors, all built on the foundation of trust, loyalty, and competence, the very qualities my in-laws had attempted to ignore. One evening, Emily and I sat by the fire, sipping cocoa. She leaned her head on my shoulder and whispered, "Mom, do you think they'll ever understand?" I smiled softly, stroking her hair. "Maybe someday, love. But even if they don't, we've already won. And that's all that matters." Outside, snowflakes drifted quietly, settling on the world like a soft promise. Inside, warmth, love, and laughter filled our home, a Christmas we would never forget, a victory that needed no announcement, and a lesson in loyalty, respect, and the quiet, undeniable power of integrity. And from that day forward, no one ever doubted who Miranda Chase was, or the force she had become.